Hello, welcome to the Bad Girl's Guide to Love with Dr. Ayo. I'm your host, Dr. Ayo. Thank you for being here with me today. I'm here to tell you that you are missing out on love because you are dating with your preferences and not your deal breakers. And this is such an important concept because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking I'm about to sit here and tell you how you should start settling and not going for the man that you really want. But that's not here what we're talking about today. We are talking about how you have these unrealistic expectations of what your man is supposed to be like, what your relationship is supposed to be like, and it's hurting you. You're alone, you're desperate, you're single because of your own view of what your relationship and man is supposed to be like. And we talked a little bit about it the other day when we got into things like wanting him to be tall or having preferences on how you want him to look. But it's such an important concept and I don't want you to miss it. I'm gonna give you some statistics. 6 foot and above is only 14% of all the men in the United States. So that's young, old, middle-aged, everybody, 14%. And then when you're talking about 6'2", which is of course what a lot of us women want, you're talking about 4% of the population, 4%. So you sitting around saying, I want my man to be 6'3", sing like Trey Songz, looking like Idris Elba. I mean, you're already starting out with 4% with the, I mean, you were lucky, you have found that man, and that's great. And I'm not saying it's not possible, but if you were buying a car or taking a test, would you want to have that 1% odd that things were gonna work out? Or would you rather broaden your horizons a little bit? Right. So the difference in your preferences and your deal breakers are your must-haves. And that's different for everybody. I can't tell you what your must-haves are, but what I can do is tell you to sit down and be realistic. Do you really need your man to make for a healthy relationship? It didn't. So when you're looking at deal breakers, you have to look at what can I really not live without in a relationship? Someone that's able to commit to you. That's a deal breaker if he's not able to commit. Religious preferences. Now this is something for some people is a hard line and for others not so much, you know, but you have to figure out what you can deal with for yourself. Children. My husband and I always talk about this. Some people really are okay and open to dating someone with kids, and other people it's an absolute not. And as we get older, of course, that might adjust and change over time. So you really have to sit and look at yourself at each point in your dating process and figure out what you're willing to accept. But right now, you are taking yourself out of the game before you've even started. Dating is about getting to know people, seeing if you're compatible. It's not about keeping everyone out on the outskirts and not letting anyone in. You have to be willing to give things a shot. Take some risks. So, and the average height of a woman is 5'4". So, if you're 5'4", do you really need that 4% of the country that's 6'2"? Do you really have to have it? No, that is a preference. Like for me, I'm warm-blooded. I had to have someone who was willing to live in the South or somewhere warm. It was a deal breaker for me if someone needed to live up north or somewhere cold. So that was a deal breaker. But other people are, oh, I'm ready to move. I can live anywhere. So this is based on you. So I'm not sitting here to tell you that you can deal with the same thing other people can deal with. But I know from working with people, and women especially, who are hustling hard, they're out there achieving, and they have these ideas of what things should be like, and they want to control everything. So they got their checklist, boom, 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 boom. And it's fine, everybody can have a checklist, but as long as you know, most of those things on your checklist are preferences. And in my book, The Modern Trophy Wife, I actually have people cross out things that are preferences and make a deal breakers list versus a preference list. And I think that that's an important concept, because your list should really be the deal breakers, and the rest should be about who a person is. You might be missing out on someone funny or smart or engaging or creative or artistic that balances you out and compliments you, just because you're chasing what someone else thinks you should have. A man in a suit and tie every day, or a man that makes this amount of money every day, and you don't even need someone to take care of you. So it's ridiculous. And I get, you want your man to be able to take care of himself and bring something to the table, but does it have to be 6 figures? Does it have to be 7, 8 figures? That's something that you need to know is a preference. So you need to realign your expectations. Stop looking around at what other people's relationships like, what other people are doing, what things were for you in your head, and be realistic. We would all love to have that Disney fairy tale lifestyle, but it's not always what's real, you know? And even in the Disney movies, they don't show you what happens after they live happily ever after. They don't show you that you got to do the work. And sometimes the people that are the most flashy, that look the hottest, that make the most money, aren't the ones that are willing to do the work with you. And then you're sitting in there doing all the work with someone who's really not that engaged, and it's not an intimate closeness. And you have all the boxes checked. Oh, he's tall. Oh, he's got a great job. Oh, he's got money. Oh, he's this and that. But you don't feel good at the end of the day. You're not happy. He's not doing what you need him to do in the relationship. So you got to get outside of all this stuff you thought you wanted or thought you needed, and really redo that list and make it of deal breakers and not preferences, and see if that brings you closer to the life and love that you want. I guarantee you it will. And it's not settling. It's not. Settling is when you take a deal breaker and it's not something that you really wanted to have in your life or really needed, or something you go against your needs. Like if I had to move to New York to be with someone and I was unhappy and cold and angry, that would have been settling. But that's not always the case. Dating somebody 5'11" or 6 foot when you're 5'4", but wanting someone 6'3", that is not settling. That is adjusting your preferences and going with someone who might be better for you than that 6'3", 6'4" person that might be an asshole or not treat you well or not do the things you need to do in the relationship. You have to learn how to be happy in the day-to-day things. Like Chris Rock said, relationships are about being happy, watching movies, and eating, okay? So if you can't do those things with people, then it doesn't even matter. Half the fun of the relationship is the silly stuff in between times, the sitting on the couch and laughing in the moment, the going on trips and all that sort of thing together. Not taking photos and selfies and seeing how tall he is or how hot he is or what kind of car he drives. That is not what makes you happy in a relationship. And you're not wanting to do the work. So you're sitting outside looking in to everybody else's relationship, waiting on this unicorn to come and save you, and you might not even be happy when that happens. So check yourself, check your expectations, and date with deal breakers and not preferences. All right, that's the show for you. Bad Girl's Guide to Love with Dr. Ayo. See you next time.